Okay people, today we're gonna discuss why I and some other people think that the Donkey Kong world record for the NES is cheated. But instead of the usual thing, me just telling you why it's cheated, I'm gonna show you by me doing the exact same thing. Probably not as good as the world record, but just showcasing why it's an unfair advantage, to the point where it should not even be allowed against other emulator runs. So just to get started, let's just go down to the Donkey Kong leaderboard here. So you can see the top 3 runs are emulate run. Like nothing weird, like that's completely fine. That's something that can happen. And like, it's all good. I do have some opinions about whether or not some emulator runs should be allowed or not, and this is one of them. So let's just go into here and look at the world record here. And let's just look through it once. Like, do we notice anything weird here? Like the first level, nothing weird, like that's exactly how we do it. It's completely normal. The second level, he doesn't use the buffer, but neither do I. Basically he's looking up here for a visual cue. He gets through very quickly. He lost a few frames here because a frame perfect of this stage would be a 44 bonus stage. But it's hard to do it frame perfect. Now is when the funkiness starts. So in this level you have something called pivots, where you instead of doing a different route that is way slower, you just walk up and turn around on the same frame as you hit something and turn back around. That way you don't fall down. And like, it doesn't look that weird, right? It doesn't look that weird. It looked completely normal. But let's check on this first pivot here. I might actually need to go full screen here, so let me fix that really quickly. Probably need to do something like this. So let me go full screen here. Boom. So you can see the input display right down here. So let's go forward a frame. Forward a frame. Still normal. Still normal. But what is that? That's a right plus left input. You might now be like, but hey, JKL, when you press left and right in this game, it doesn't do anything, right? Not completely true. Well, it is true. But what it does is it buffers the left input. The moment you release right, you will start moving left. So also this is a 30 FPS video, so we can assume this wasn't just for a frame, but let's say it is for a frame, this happens. Even then, it's something that shouldn't be possible on real hardware. And I know you might be saying now, well, you can't ban emulator players from playing on emulator. No, we can't. We can't. We can separate the boards, obviously. But the second best thing is that you can turn off left and right input. And what happens then, I will show you. But yeah, let's look here. So if this was with legit emulator settings, he would have failed that pivot, by the way. He would have failed it. So he has failed 1 out of 1 pivots right now. Let's check here. So here, we don't know if he's actually holding both directions or a frame here. But let's give him a benefit of the doubt, say he did a perfect pivot here. So that's 50% success rate on pivots. Let's check the next one here. What? Another left plus right. So all of a sudden his pivots goes down to about 33% chance of nailing one. Let's see this. Oh, all of a sudden we're talking about 25% chance of nailing a pivot. And now you know, like what do you get? If you haven't ran this game before, what you need to realize is that it's somewhat rare to even get to stage 3. Because most resets happens because you miss the ladder glitch. When you finally get the ladder glitch, you might miss the fast cycle on stage 2. And even if you get that, about 70 to 80% of your runs will die because of bad fire spawns. So you might say, well, he only did, what does it say? 947 attempts. Well, this would probably have taken him about 20,000 attempts, bare minimum, if he didn't have those settings. But before we just call this end and quits and everything, we can just check on the emulator he is using, the FCUX. I'm not gonna use the same version, I'm gonna use the newest one because it's the easiest way for me to do this. So I'm gonna open up the emulator. I'm gonna go here to get the ROM. You can hear the music. Let's go here. Let's just capture it right here. So, boom. So we have that one. Let's just open up the config here. Tools. No, it's config and input. You cannot see the input viewer or thing, but maybe I can showcase it. Yeah, here. So we can have it down here, or we can show it there. Let's make it big. So here you have allow left and right. Clear as day. I'm gonna configure my buttons here really quickly. We can use K and L, I guess. Let's just see so everything works. Everything works as planned. Let me see how I make save stage actually. Okay. So let's just do the first level here. Also, I need to move my timer here because I cannot see. I'm just gonna do... I wanna just say that I'm not an emulator player. So I'm not great at this. And I'm definitely not a keyboard player. Actually, I don't need to do this perfectly, right? Yeah, I'm tone deaf, by the way. Basically. Let's turn off the background music as well. So the second stage, let's just beat it. I wanna showcase it on the final level anyways. So we're just playing it very safe here. So, just to explain the basics here. Look here, when I'm pressing left, nothing happens. But if I release, something happens. That's how you do quick ladders, by the way. You just walk up to them, holding up, like this. And when you release, you get it right away. So, just to showcase. I'm not gonna be great at this anyways, but I can show you. There I did probably a perfect. We can highlight it and check later, just to see if I did it. But let's do... I'm just gonna do this a few times. Just to demonstrate. That was one frame too late. Just showing that it's not that hard with emulator. When you allow left plus right, right? You can see me doing it fairly consistent. That was way too late. But yeah, I'm a few frames early sometimes. But you can see this is my first time experimenting with this. And you can probably see that if I did this for like half an hour, I would probably get pretty consistent at it. So now let's go back to the config here. And this one is actually disabled by default. So this player went in and enabled this on purpose. Maybe it wasn't that in old versions, I do not know. I do not know. But in this version you have to click it to enable. So let's do this now. And let's do the same thing. What happens when I press both buttons? Do you see? You cannot press. And when you do, the game stops reading your inputs. Because that's how emulators with this setting make sure that you cannot do illegal inputs. So, let's see if I can... okay, I'm sorry, I'm a fucking god, but non-god people cannot do it. No kidding. But it's a lot harder. Also, this is keyboard, and keyboard is way easier than playing on a D-pad, which is a reason why I think the emulator should be a separate category for this game, but I'm not a top runner of the game, so I really don't care. But you can see I have to make sure that I'm releasing, because let's say I try to do the same thing. Like, it's not gonna work. I need to release it and press on the next frame. And this is way easier on a console than on a D-pad. Or it's way easier on a keyboard than a D-pad, because you gotta move your thumb like that. You can use a double grip and do this, but it's still the D-pad needs to travel. Like the D-pad needs to travel. On a keyboard, it's basically like holding A and doing that. Like that's way easier. Like say you're gonna do a jumping shot on Mega Man and you need to do the shot 1 frame after. That's a very easy trick to do. Or not jumping shot. It would be like you need to release the jump and press shoot on the next frame. But very easy to do on a controller. But the D-pad is what makes retro speedrunning very unique. Because there are movements that are harder. So, with all that said, I just want to hear what people in my chat think. We might highlight this to YouTube. We might even put this on Twitter and let people decide what they think. But I think I made my case pretty clear here that, like, if you allow left and right inputs, it's gonna be a lot easier. But also, like, this is more a video to show people that are moderators of games that are emulator heavily ran what to look for in a cheated run. Like, your opinion might be that this isn't cheated, but I would say a majority of people would agree that this is not okay as a world record in a top contested NES speedrun. Like, there's no way I want to believe that the community has gone so far off that you think this is something that's okay. But that's everything from me. And now I'm gonna continue enjoying a fika break with my chat. And we will highlight this and post it on YouTube. Take care and have a beautiful evening, morning, or whatever it is. Bye bye.